one of the most highly anticipated races of the 2026 season, one of the most popular races of the 2026 season. It's here, and with 45 trucks ready to take on racing here today, 3 go home, 42 get to race tomorrow. That can only mean one thing, that it's time for the Springfield Mile. For the 1-Up Turbo Truck Series, tomorrow will be race number 7 of the season, but to set the lineup, we have our traditional heat races. Only 3 this year, with a new format that it should be a lot easier to understand, but the goal is simple for 15 drivers in the field today. You have to make every bit count, because if you don't, you could be facing the possibility of watching this race from the sidelines. And alongside me in the booth to bring you all the action for today's heat racing is James Ellison with us once again, and these are going to be relatively short races, so every lap counts, and especially for these go-home drivers that could risk missing the field if they're not careful about it.
Oh, absolutely. You only got one shot per heat to make the show, and if you don't, well, better luck next time, unfortunately. But and I say that as someone with a truck and go home, but it's never easy in normal conditions. But it's even worse in a heat style format where you're fighting for your right to race, but at the same time, you know that even if you don't get to be in the main event, you at least got to show that you had something.
And it provides a big opportunity for those who haven't made a lot of races or any races at all to get some time on track and feel what their truck is capable of in racing conditions. But we have 3 heat races to bring you today. We can display the starting lineups for all 3 now, and you'll see some drivers highlighted in yellow in each starting lineup. Those are the drivers to keep an eye on, because for those drivers, if they finish last among those 5 drivers in each heat, those will be the drivers going home. So, for example, in Heat 1, you'll have Cal Farrell, Josh Gibson, R.J. Bishop, Nazari Romashko, and Lee Muse that will be fighting for 4 spots. But going back to the full starting lineup for those heats, David Wells on pole for heat number 1. He was fastest in practice and qualifying. Those were a combined session. Elias Bershey will be on pole for heat number 2. And Mitchell Carter will likewise start up front for heat number 3. But a lot can happen in 15 laps at the Springfield Mile, so just because this is how they start the race does not mean that is how they're going to finish it by any means.
Oh, absolutely not. We saw it. We've seen it in years past that starting lineups can mean nothing here. You could shuffle your back. Even our go or go home competitions, in the way the heats were used to be run, you almost didn't know for sure who was going to lock themselves in. Matter of fact, we had a few last year, if I remember correctly, competing for the win in each heat. Which, you win your heat when you're in go or go home, you're definitely making the show.
And I think we've done enough talking. I think it's time to see cars on track. And we've got 15 cars ready to take on heat number 1, which should start momentarily. It's heat racing from Springfield for the 1-Up Turbo Truck Series. And the green flag for that first heat should be coming momentarily. Stay tuned for all 3 races. They're bound to be good ones. Getting ready for the first of what will be 3 heats to set the lineup for the main event tomorrow. It is David Wells on the inside of row 1, Jesse Turner on the outside, leading us towards the start-finish line. The flagman has the green flag in his hand. It's out. We're rolling at the Springfield Mile, and David Wells gets a great launch off the line, and he's bringing Blaine Saylor with him, and Logan Jones in the 66. That outside line did not get a good launch. Turner's already fallen back to 4th, and he's battling Cal Farrell, battling Jesse Turner for that 4th place, as Saylor dives down the inside to try and get the lead on the opening lap.
He is on a hot streak, and he wants to continue that even in the heats, so I do not blame him one bit for this. And talk about Farrell, he started first in the go or go homers, and he wants to stay there all heat long, so, and even for only 15 laps, all he's got to do is stay up there. But right now we're looking at his teammate, I believe that's his teammate there, Lee Muse.
Yeah, he is currently on the outside looking in. He's got to go chase down that 40 truck of Romashko. Now 43 of Josh Josh Gibson he needs to go chase down. So it's the 43, the 40, and the 16 that are fighting for 2 spots in this race. Up at the front, though, Saber continues to run out front. Romashko having a strong run so far in this 40 truck. He hasn't made a race all season up to this point. This could be a great opportunity for him to make his first, and he's doing a really strong performance here in this Crown Royal Tundra.
Yeah, that is a really nice truck paint scheme. It's a shame we haven't seen it until this heat race, but if he can stay where he is, he will not have to worry about missing the show, which, you know, that'll be a big deal for that team.
Because right now the battle's between Gibson and Muse for that final transfer spot, both of whom have made every race this season, so that's going to be a big talking point if one of them misses out. There they are right at the back with Muccioli and Zach Fry at the 5, but Gibson now on the outside looking in. Lee Muse has passed him, and now he's battling Robert Weaver, who's locked into the show on points. In front, though, David Wells has retaken the lead from Glenn Saylor, but now Saylor's taken the lead back. Just as soon as Wells got the lead, Saylor took it right back, and now we've got a 3-wide situation here between Santi Messi and 2 of the Roberts Racing trucks, LaFleur and Logan Jones.
They are these Chevy T's right here, pretty much surrounding Wells at the moment, keeping him from fellow Fords, but I don't think he cares about if he's the only one who's not among the top 5 not a Chevy right now. He just wants to go for that heat win and secure his place in the race.
And talking about that, his teammate back there, Chris John Van Heerden, in the 7th position. He started up the 4, he's fallen back a little bit. So now he's looking to the inside of the floor as Cal Farrell in the Ram up at the front of the field. He's trying to make something happen as David Wells just noses out Blaine Saylor to lead that lap. We're already halfway through this heat.
Yeah, you know what I remember what I said about winning the heat as a go-over, truly securing your position in the race? Well, Cal Farrell is definitely going for that. He knows that right now he is well locked in. He just needs to focus on what he wants, and he wants to win this heat.
And meanwhile, Josh Gibson is in a world of trouble right now. His closest competitor in go-or-go-home competition is Lee Muse. He the 16 up in the 9th spot is to see Santi Messi and Cal Farrell battling for the lead up front. But going back to Josh Gibson, he's running down in 13th place, whereas Lee Muse is up in 9th. Gibson's going to need to go really soon if he's going to have any hope of racing on Sunday.
Absolutely, and see Farrell here, he was thinking about going inside of Messi, but he had to check up there a little bit on the other end of the track, but he's got it all back together, and so far nobody's been able to try to prevent him from making any moves. But Gibson has got a move, speaking of.
Yeah, and he's got to pass this truck directly in front of him. That's RJ Bishop in the 52, another going. That is the battle for the transfer spot right now. Bishop versus Gibson, 52 versus 43, Ram versus Toyota. As we look now further back, Romashko is having a strong performance in 7th spot, but up at the front, Cal Farrell assumes the lead of the race. We're coming to 5 laps to go. Could he cement his spot in the field with pole position for the main event tomorrow?
I know his team owner would be very happy with that, but I know there's some determined drivers behind him who want to prevent that. I mean, they don't care if he makes the show or not, but they don't want him to be the one to win this heat.
And meanwhile, RJ Bishop starting to pull away a little bit from Josh Gibson. Now he's up battling Lee Muse and Jesse Turner. So for Josh Gibson, it's do or die at this point. We're coming to 4 laps of racing to go. We're 3 wide with Van Heerden, Saylor, and Logan Jones. That is the battle for 4th, but Cal Farrell's extending his gap out front, but Santi Messi and David Wells, they're going to have something to say about that by the end of this race.
And Heerden just trying to rebound a little bit from where he's from start. He's already regained a couple of spots he lost, but at least he knows he's in the show. It's just he'd rather be starting closer to the front for sure.
Here we go for the lead.
Speaking of, Messi wants this.
Yeah, with 3 laps to go, it's time to make a move. And here comes Messi trying to make that move down the inside of Cal Farrell. Now David Wells moves to the inside of him. We're 3 wide down the back straightaway. Fortis for the win of this heat, coming to 2 laps of racing to go. This is why we come to the Springfield Mile every year. Wow, Saylor sent it in deep, but he almost lost it through a corner. That could have been costly for the 08, but he hangs on to it. 2 laps of racing.
I think that caused the 62 to check up.
Yeah, 2 laps of racing to go, and for Josh Gibson, he is in crisis mode right now. He's trying to fend off his teammate Alan Muccioli. The problem is, the 7's already locked into the show, the 43 isn't. They've got to be telling the 7 on the radio, help that 43 get to these guys before it's too late, because we're coming to the white flag right here, and he almost collects his teammate.
Oh, this has got to sting. As we take the white flag, he's got to be feeling that one right now. And right now, Farrell just trying to rebound and do something with Wells as Sailor and Messi are side by side. Ooh, that was dicey there.
Going into turn 3 for the final time. It's been a hotly contested heat race out front, but it looks as though David Wells, who started first, is going to finish first, unless Blaine Sailor can do something, but it doesn't look like he can. To the line, David Wells wins the first heat, and looks like our lone DNQ from this heat will unfortunately be the 43 of Josh Gibson. He's just spent too much time fighting his teammate, and he loses out to Lee Muse in the dying laps. The 16 is in, the 43 is out.
Oh, a little bit of stack up here going into the pits, but we're doing really good here. Well, most of them, but honestly, that really does stink for Gibson because, like you said, made every race up until this one. It's like what we saw every season. There's always one race that there's going to be either too many entries or just something go wrong, and in this case, that go wrong was not being able to catch up to the rest.
And on the flip side of that, Nazary Romashko in the 40 makes his first start of the season tomorrow in that 40 truck. So kudos to the Camp Sport team from getting that truck into the field. We'll see how.
Congrats.
Yeah, we'll see how these guys can get on tomorrow. But we still got 2 more heats to go. We've got a lot more racing action slated for you this afternoon, so strap in. We're only just getting started. Heat number 2 coming your way in just a short while. Heat 1 in the books, Heat 2 getting set to go. Elias Bershey and Curtis Stevenson on row 1 for this heat. It's number 2 of 3 rolling up to the starting line right now. The field of 15 approaches. We're underway in heat number 2, and look at Eric Monaco in the number 1. He's already trying to make a move down to the inside before we've even got to turn 1. Field spreads out going into the corner, but so far it looks as though Bershey has it covered, but he's got the likes of Monaco and now Derek Hamill fighting towards their inside.
Yeah, you got 3 Fords there, and then you got 2 Mercedes right there. All 5 of them with different teams. So my recollection. So yeah, Hamill really wants something. He hasn't had a terrible season at this point, but he certainly would love to have a heat win on his record.
And he's going for it right now. Monaco led the opening lap. Going back here, this is the battle to keep our eye on. We're 4 wide at this point in the field. We've got A.F. Walsh, William Ayers, Stephen Myers back here, Archer Shriak, Sam Oskin. This is the truck to keep an eye on, this 2 truck. It's his last 2 homers right now. His fight is with the 11 and the 21, and possibly a few others like the 26 and the 55. We're still 4 wide. 1 and 2. This can get really dicey, but somehow everybody makes it through unscathed.
Well, not quite. It looks like Monaco might have just got just enough into the dirt that's not part of the racing groove, but he's going to recover. Speaking of recovery and moves, guys, I know we're trying to fight for position, especially for like Ayers and the 21. They're trying to make the show, but that's not how you do it.
No, but right now I think their fight is now with each other. The 21, the 11, the 2, they're all trying to fight each other to make the race, let alone win a heat. AJ Hayes is back here. Yojan Stoyan almost gets collected by Archer Shriak. Those guys are in the show already. But for the likes of Oskin, Ayers, Myers, Sessoms in that mix, as is Tanner Browning, they've all got to fight for their lives at this point. And look how close these guys are. Whoa, they made contact. Myers and Sessom into the outside wall with Eric Monaco. They lose all their momentum, but they somehow keep it all pointed in the right direction.
But that puts the 26 at a disadvantage, especially because, as you see the 11 there, Ayers clears them both handily. As we see up here, it's Hamill versus the 2 Mercedes.
one of those Mercedes is the truck that won this race a season ago, the main race a season ago, albeit with a different driver behind the wheel. But now Johnny DiLorenzo's looking to pick up where his predecessor left off. He's trying to go for the win in this heat so he can claim the outside front row for the main event. But he's got to tuck in behind Stevenson at this point. We're halfway home in heat 2, but now Elias Bershey, the pole sitter, going to try and stick his nose in there.
And those two right there, DiLorenzo and Bershey, were at one time teammates in the alliance that DiLorenzo's part of, but they're still good competitors, and as long as they don't wreck each other, I think they'll still be able to get along. As we see the fight for the go-around one position continuing to rage.
Yeah, it looks as though right now it's a battle between the 11, the 21, and the 2. The 2 is still last of those trucks, so he's got to find a way past either the 11 or the 21 to find his way into the main event. I think the 55 is going to be plenty good to race tomorrow, and the 26 is starting to get there. So Stephen Myers definitely does not want to go the way of his teammate Josh Gibson from Heat 1. The 43 failed to make the show. The 21 is going to do everything he can to put at least two Vice Valley trucks in the field.
Yeah, meanwhile, looking at Oskin, he being the odd man out right now, he's trying, and he hasn't been a slouch about this. He's been putting effort in it as he's currently dealing with Monica, who's locked in, and a little bit more sliding up here in the front, but back to Oskin. We saw what he was capable of at Nashville a little bit in race number 2 there, but this one's certainly a stressful one.
And he's going to need to go because Gibson Myers in the 21. The Vice Valley truck is his main competition. As Ayers has now cleared Clayton Sessom for 10th position. I think the 11 is going to be okay unless something disastrous happens in the dying laps of this race, because we've only got 5 laps to go now. We've got 5 trucks, maybe 6 under a blanket for the win, a couple stragglers in the middle, and then at the back of the field, we've got this fight right here between Stephen Myers and Sam Oskin. One of these two will race, the other will not.
Yeah, that's the tough part here. You got, on one hand, you got one who's trying to make sure there's more than one truck from his team in the field, and then on the other hand, you got someone who's been trying his hardest to make the show, hasn't always been able to make it happen, and would love to be able to show what he can do.
Because I believe Myers' only DNQ of the season was at Daytona. He's made every race since. So this 21 is going to try and hang on for all he can, and that's what we love about these heat races. We get to shine a spotlight on these guys when we otherwise wouldn't be able to. Now Myers is trying to get to the back of Sessom. They're going to try and put the 26 in a little bit of heat at the moment in this heat race. We've got just a handful of laps to go. 3 laps remaining, and Elias Bershey led that last lap, but now Hamill signs his way through to take the lead. Curtis Stevenson now trying to get by the 13 as well. And how about A.F. Walsh? He was nowhere in the practice and qualifying session this week. Now he's in the mix for the heat win coming to 2.
And he got by DiLorenzo, and now he wants more. But we know several people who want more, but there's only so much you can do when the field is spread out like it has. But right now, as we look at the 21, it looks like he is safe for the moment. Again, like you said about Ayers, pending something drastic, which this late in the going would really be heartbreaking.
Walsh fights his way up to second. The defending series champion is on a tear. Coming to the white flag right here in heat number 2. It is Stevenson out in the lead. Walsh on the inside. Hamill on the outside. With Bershey and DiLorenzo waiting in the wings. Walsh down the back straightaway for the final time. Edges out Stevenson for the lead. He's got Hamill back there to push him along. Going through 3 and 4 for the final time. Hamill's trying. He's going to have one shot at it out of turn 4. He's going to pull alongside the 0-2. I don't think it's enough. And A.F. Walsh from 8th on the grid wins heat number 2. And at the back of the field, I think Stephen Myers was just able to hold on, and he has. So Sam Oskin will be going home empty-handed, but the 21 will be the second Vice Valley truck to race on Sunday.
Yeah, you love it for Vice Valley Motorsports to not going into the main event with just one truck, and a little bit of frustration there, I think. But Oskin will be able to rebound. We know he has other opportunities. You just hate to see him go home in such a prestigious race like this for the trucks.
So AF Walsh will start second for the main event. So that will take place tomorrow. Curtis Stevenson, second in the heat. Hamble, Bershey, and DiLorenzo, your top 5. And for the likes of Tanner Browning, Tanner Browning, William Ayers, Clayton Sessom, and Stephen Myers, yeah, they will all race in the main event on Sunday. So kudos to all 4 of them. I'm sure they'll be giving it their best in tomorrow's race as well. But we're not quite done yet. We still have one more heat race to put on for you folks, and that is coming up in just a short moment. So stay tuned, because this last heat could be the one that decides a lot here at the Springfield Mile. The final heat with Mitchell Carter and Jeremy Frey on row 1 this time around. Pace truck pulls off, leaves us in the hands of the sophomore from Blue Sky Racing, Mitchell Carter. He's going to lead us to the green flag, which is now out in the air. We're racing for the final heat in Springfield, and Mitchell Carter gets a huge launch. He drops that 28 right to the bottom lane. He's going to bring Audrey Anzac and Brandon Beal with him. Carter leads the charge out of turn 2.
And the outside line just isn't the place to be on the start in these heats, at least. So a little bit of work to do for the likes of Frey, Vasquez, Samuel, but we saw it most definitely in Heat 2. You can shuffle yourself around and be in contention if you have a bad start. So this is where it's going to make things real interesting, is seeing how things play out, especially among the Gargo homers like Samantha Dane.
And Note LeBlanc in the 85, and behind them you got Brantley Gage as well, and Brendan Mayhew. So all of these guys are just fighting for every spot they can get. And how about this 50 of Benjamin Snyder? He's like the 40 of Romashko. We haven't seen him in a race yet this season, but he's putting on a really strong performance in this 50 truck for Grigsby Motorsports. He sides it down to the inside. He's already made his way up to the top 5 after starting his heat in the top.
Meanwhile, Sam Vitale, we're already looking to rebound. All right, Alex, easy there. I know you're in the show, but anyway.
That 50 sure isn't, and he would really not like it if a wreck ruined his chances.
Oh, absolutely. And right now, he's definitely doing really good. As a matter of fact, top of the Go Home list right now, as we see Beals in the lead.
So far, so good for the Express Motorsports team of Brandon Beal, who's taken the lead of the race. He's got Darren Mills in second, Benjamin Snyder fighting him for that spot. Sam Vitale, Audrey Anzac. Look at these trucks. They're so tightly packed together in this heat, and this pack of trucks.
Jade.
Yeah, here comes the 25 to the inside, trying to avoid the first DNQ of her career. So this 25 is racing for everything at the moment. And you see at the back, Brantley Gage and Brendan Mayhew. These are the 2 fighting for the transfer spot at the moment. They're a little ways off the main pack. Who knows what will happen, because we still have 10 laps left in this final heat.
There's still plenty of time to figure things out, but like we've seen in the first 2 heats, you don't want to be that person who's stuck in the back.
Whoa,
trying
Scott!
to find their way up.
He hits the bottom of the track. Oh, and we got a crash!
Oh!
It's San Vitale, it's Jade, and it's Benjamin Snyder. Caution's going to come out for the first time all day, and man, that is going to be really painful for the likes of Samantha Jade and Benjamin Snyder. Two drivers that were trying to make the race, and now with damage on their race vehicles.
And now that just opens up security for the rest of them. But man, you gotta feel for Snyder and Jane here. But yeah, obviously I'm a little boned about the 31 being involved, but I'm really boned for those 2 go or go homers.
We still got half this race to run, though. Who knows what'll happen by the end of this race? Because Brandon Mayhew's up to 10th, but he hasn't really shown a lot of speed this race. Neither is Brantley Gage. So depending on the damage these guys have, who knows? We'll get you a replay of this in just a moment as well. So it looks like it starts with the 15 of Austin Scott clipping that inside barrier. Gets up at the Anzac, and yeah, that pretty much touched off a chain reaction with Mills, with Sandoval. Snyder actually didn't get as much damage as I thought he would, but that 25 is a battered back bumper, a donut on the right and the left side of that truck, and Samantha Jade's going to have a lot of work to do to make her way into the field for tomorrow's race.
It started with that contact with the wall, then a few checkups, and it was on.
We'll get you a better look at it here, because looking at it with San Vital, yeah, Scott hits that guardrail, comes up into Anzac, he hits Wells, he hits Snyder, and it's just a huge chain reaction. That's every wreck in Springfield is just one big chain reaction. One truck hitting something that they shouldn't have, and then it just touches off a bigger wreck once more trucks pile in. So a tough break for San Vital, even tougher break for Samantha Jade and Benjamin Snyder. Let's see who makes the field now, because we still got some racing under our belts to get done.
Yeah, and we see Beal in the lead with Vince Freeze up here. Like, we know he's been doing pretty good there for Fitzwater Australia Racing, but this is a good chance for him because he's not always been up at the top of the field, but he's doing what he can here, and who knows? We could be talking about him in the feature.
And throw Austin Scott into that mix as well. I know he just touched off that big accident, but he started this heat down in 14th, second to last. So for this 15 truck to be up in third position with a shot at the win, that's a big deal for that one racing team in the 15. We've seen their speed with Elias Bershey and with Scott to an extent this season, but for them to win a heat race here at Springfield, that'd be a really big deal for that group.
It would be a big deal. It wouldn't be a points win, but it would certainly be a victory nonetheless, and they would be happy with it, I know for sure.
Well, we've got the one-to-go signal this time, so we will be racing with 6 laps of racing left in this heat. We've got Brandon Beal out in the lead, Vince Freeze second, Austin Scott, Jeremy Frey, Audrey Anzac the top 5, Ryan Vasquez, Mitchell Carter, Noah LeBlanc, Darren Mills, Brandon Mayhew round out the top 10. So we still got a lot of racing left. 5 laps is a lot of time, and it's also no time. So these guys are going to have to make the most of every opportunity they get, because we're about half a lap away from going green.
Yeah, we're trying to see just how wounded that 25 is, and how quickly, like, if it's not so wounded, how quickly Jane can rebound and, you know, San Vitale, because despite being locked in the show, I know he does not want to finish last.
Well, the pace truck pulls off, and it leaves us in the hands of Brandon Beal, leading us towards the restart, which will come with 6 laps of racing to go. Beal, Freeze, Scott, Frey, Anzac, green flag.
And we're off to a good start. Scott was already ducking the inside there of Freeze, but Anzac going inside of Frey, so we'll see how this works. And pretty smooth on the restart here, as Scott trying so hard for what would be that team's first win, points or no points.
Scott drives it down the inside of Brendan Beal for the race lead. He is going to take it at a turn 4. We're coming to 5 laps to go. They're 3 wide for third between Freeze, Frey, and Anzac. This has been some epic racing up to this point, but these guys, the rest of the field, oh! Santiago clips that inside barrier on the inside. That is going to hurt his performance, and he gets hit with Mayhew and LeBlanc, 2 more of our Go Home drivers piling into each other on the back straightaway. That's our second caution in the race, and we're coming to 4 laps to go, and that is not good. It might come down to which of those 2 gets to the line first.
And some good evasion there by San Vital, because that happened right in front of him and Jade, and this, yeah, you really hate that for the Go-Homers to be the ones involved in something and potentially cost them a chance of being in a big show.
So Mayhew got to the finish line first. LeBlanc did not. LeBlanc is in 15th and last at the moment. His fate will come down to whether or not we can restart this race in time to have a couple laps of racing under our belts. So that is going to be a touch and go moment for the 85. We'll get you a look at what happened here in just a moment. Santiago hit that wall on the inside. LeBlanc and Mayhew went to the outside to try and avoid him, but they just ran out of room on the top of the track. We came together on the exit, and that is difficult for the 85 and the 24, both of whom have had their share of misfortunes already this season, and now it might just come down to whether or not we can restart this racing. I think Nola Blanc's prayers have been answered, because the lights are out on the safety vehicle. We're going to get some racing. It'll only be 2 laps of racing left, but I think Nola Blanc is going to be a man on a mission. He wants to make this race. He wants to make it bad, and he's going to do whatever it takes to get by Brendan Mayhew in the final 2 laps of this race, because one of them will make it, the other won't. And Conversely, at the front of the field, Brandon Beal, he's trying to win this heat so he can start third in the main event. But Austin Scott, Vince Freeze, I'm sure they're going to have something to say about it as well.
Yeah, and we're going to find out here as we come to 2 to go, and the green flag for what will be the final time of the heat race. We're going to see just who is determined enough to make the show and to win the heat.
These trucks off. Brandon Beal leads us towards the restart zone, looking for his first one-up victory of any kind in quite some time. Leading us to the restart, green flag's back out, 2 laps of racing to go. Scott backing up his run to try and get him moved done maybe into turn 3, but he's got to be careful because Vince Freeze is lining up a move on him, and LeBlanc is already after Brandon Mayhew for 14th.
Not surprising. We know he wants to make this. He wants to be in the show. Mayhew does too, but the question is, who's the most determined out of these two, and perhaps even Samantha Jane ahead of him.
And here comes Austin Scott forging ahead for the lead on the white flag lap. What a difference in fortunes for that one racing team. We've got one of their trucks en route to winning the heat, and the other is fighting for his life just to make the main event. Down the back straightaway for the final time. Freeze gets a little squirrely out of the corner, battling Beal and Anthack. Through 3 and 4 for the final time. I think LeBlanc's going to hang on to take the final transfer spot, but how about his teammate Austin Scott? First win in one-up competition, and it comes in the final heat. He will start 3rd tomorrow, and Noah LeBlanc made the most of that last restart. He jumps with Brandon Mayhew. The 85 is in, the 24 is not.
And you hate that for Mayhew, but at the same time, I consider this a double victory event for that one racing team. As we again have a few post-race shenanigans, but they're both teams are celebrating right now. You know that for a fact. Both drivers are going to be with their crews and each other, just celebrating the fact that this was an overall heat win for that team.
Absolutely. Austin Scott's going to get his career best start tomorrow with 3rd place. And Noah LeBlanc, I know he's going to start last tomorrow, but he's got a big opportunity to make something happen because of his late race move on Brandon Mayhew. But with that, our 42 drivers for tomorrow are set. Our lineup is set. We've got a big day of racing tomorrow, 75 laps tomorrow for the 1-Up Turbo Truck Series. It'll be race number 7 of the season. We hope to see you tomorrow as well. But so from James Ellison and from myself as well, thanks for joining us at Springfield. We'll see you again here tomorrow for the big race, 75 laps to determine a winner in the 1-Up Turbo Truck Series.